Welcome to Week in Review. Well, 2025, a brand new year, and we are called to be ambassadors for Jesus Christ. And I want to welcome you. We're going to have a great year. God's done some tremendous intervention in our nation, but we're going to deal with some of the issues. When we say Week in Review, I'm trying to select those key ones, and this one today is on transgender. I don't know if you're aware of it, but since Roe v. Wade, the most important decision facing the Supreme Court is one dealing with transgenderism. Now, you might say, Larry, I don't know what to say. I don't want to get into arguments. Well, we are called to bring the truth to people. And the Bible makes it clear that God made them male and female. Jesus reiterated that in the Gospels. And in Romans, it tells us that when people don't honor God and they don't give him thanks, they go on a slippery slope. And what happens is, well, God has to turn people over to what? Men with attraction for men and women for women. And we have to compassionately, without being combative, bring truth, the sword of the Spirit. So I want you to listen, because this one is laid out in a very succinct way. Know what's said, because you want to be compassionate. And I'll tell you, I just was talking with someone just the other day about this, and they were listening. And so we want to be cogent, clear, compassionate, but also consistent with what Scripture says about this subject. So when the Supreme Court is dealing with it, can we prohibit and ban the use of various items and surgeries to minors? Well, this will affect you and me. So listen, and let's lay into what God has and bring the truth in this coming year.
Dr. Michael Brown here, host of the Line of Fire radio broadcast. What should we think of the question of transgender identity? Is it just a matter of having compassion on people who were born in the wrong body? Is it recognizing that science has taught us that some people, in fact, are trapped in the wrong body, and the best thing that they can do is come into harmony with their body? How? By hormone therapy, by gender affirmation surgery that will now get their outside in harmony with their inside. Is that what we should do? And does the Bible address it? Well, many well-meaning people, including Christians, say, yes, that's the best thing to do. And if Joe now identifies as Jane, we should refer to him as her and call her Jane. And if Jane wants to get on hormone therapy and sex change surgery, we should stand with her. I appreciate the compassion behind that. And there's no question that little children can struggle with their identity, and that adults can struggle with their identity, and that this is not the kind of thing that someone just brings on themselves. So we should have tremendous compassion. But compassion does what's right. Empathy may just stand with someone, but compassion says, let's go deeper and let's do what's best for them. And God's way is to help someone from the inside out. Number one, the Word of God says that He created us in His image in Genesis 1, male and female. Those are the only categories. Someone who is intersex, meaning there is a biological or chromosomal abnormality, does not have another sex. They are not a third sex. Instead, they are an exception to the rule. In other words, there is an abnormality. There is a defect, again, deserving of compassion and grace, but just like someone who has a defect with their eyes and can't see, or a defect with their ears and can't hear, that only underscores the right meaning of the eyes, the right meaning of the ears. The only categories that the Bible knows are male and female. Not only so, but there is actually no scientific evidence that anyone is trapped in the wrong body. In fact, compassion will help someone from the inside out. And when we look at the trajectory, because everything reproduces after its own kind, where has the transgender activist movement gotten us? It's gotten us to the idea that there is an infinite number of gender expressions. It has gotten us to the idea that there are scores and scores and scores of gender identity pronouns that we should learn and use. It has gotten us to the point where doctors are working with parents to chemically castrate and genitally mutilate children who are far too young to understand the implications of what they've done, to the point that you now have 18-year-old girls suing their hospitals, suing their doctors, and saying, how could you possibly remove my breasts when I was 13 years old because I was confused about my gender? Science does tell us that 80 to 90% of children who are confused about their gender before puberty are no longer confused after. Many may identify as gay or lesbian, but they no longer identify as transgender. Compassion says, let's help people from the inside out. Compassion says, look at the trajectory and see where it goes. And there's a reason in Deuteronomy 22 that it is detestable to the Lord for a man to wear women's clothes or a woman to wear man's clothes. So that which is distinct, where a man is clearly wearing women's clothes or a woman a man's clothes, and it's indicated by culture, God was against it. One reason being it broke down gender distinctions. These are important. Men are different than women. Women are different than men. When you look at transgender trajectory, where does it go? It goes to boys competing with girls in sports and sharing locker rooms, to the shame and humiliation of these girls. It leads to all kinds of confusion and wrong societal choices. Let's do the right thing. Let's affirm what God says and stand with God. Male and female are the only categories of humanity. And let us work with tremendous compassion to help those who struggle before they make the wrong decisions, and help those struggling after they've made the wrong decisions. Together, with our help, they can find wholeness and join the growing number of people who are ex-trans.
Hey friends, if you felt this video was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified once new videos become available. Thanks.